Somewhere in a Liverpool postcode Steven Gerrard sat, mobile phone in hand, pondering his next move. Broken and dysfunctional, Rangers want the England legend to provide their salvation. The expectation is Gerrard will say yes, assuming he hasn't already. If so, the 37-year-old management rookie will be asked to deliver a turnaround not seen since Graham Souness in 1986. To use his first job in management at one of the most demanding and scrutinised clubs in Europe to halt Celtic's relentless march towards a Scottish record 10-a row. On days like this, delivering a harmonious Brexit deal looks a walk in the park in comparison. Celtic 11, Gordon, Lustig, Hendry 71, Boyata, Ayer, Tierney, Brown, Nicham, Forrest, Rogic, Sinclair 67, McGregor, Edouard, Griffiths 75 subs, Bain, Simonovic, Roberts, Kwasi goals, Edouard 14 and 41, Forrest 45, Rogic 47, McGregor 53 booked, Hendry Rangers 11, Anik, Tavernier, McCrory, Martin, Halliday, Holt, Darwins, Docherty 71, Candeas, Windass, Morelos 57, Murphy, Cummings subs, Kelly, Hodson, Rossiter, Goss, O'Halloran booked, Cummings, McCrory, Morelos, Holt. Celtic secured their 7th straight Scottish title with contemptuous ease in the end, leaving ample time when the celebrations subsided for Gerrard to ask himself if standing in the middle of the road confronting the Brendan Rodgers juggernaut might be the best move in the world. 2 weeks ago his former Liverpool manager crushed his prospect new employers 4-0 to reach the final of the Scottish Cup. This crushing 5-0 humiliation set the seal on another championship, with Motherwell last remaining barrier to another season of total domination. The newly crowned champions were set to fly to Tenerife for rest and celebration after the most emphatic of triumphs. On loan PSG striker Odsonne Edouard justified his selection from the start with 2 of the 5 goals and an assist. 3 up at half-time thanks to a stunning James Forrest solo goal, his first against Rangers. Tom Rogic and Callum McGregor secured a stunning victory against an injury-blighted, disheartened Rangers team now 3 behind Aberdeen in the battle for second. The Ibrox side suffered a pre-match setback they really didn't need with the loss of Declan John to a broken hand, prompting Graham Morty to throw midfielder Andy Halliday in at left-back. Stand-in keeper Jack Anik also deputised for the injured Wes Foderingham. The Englishman was called to the fray to save 2 net-bound efforts from Olivier Nicham in the opening 6 minutes. In those opening exchanges the flow of traffic towards the Rangers goal was relentless. Celtic had the bit between their teeth, Rangers their hearts in their mouths. Mikael Lustig dinked to low Callum McGregor a yard over the bar. Celtic were pressing and pressing hard, the opening goal an inevitability. It came in the 14th minute, shades of the Parkhead side's second goal in the 4-0 rout at Hampden when Kieran Tierney, on a short list of summer left-back targets for Bournemouth, skipped past winger Daniel Candeas a little too easily on the left flank, making for the Bioline before sliding the ball across the face of goal for Edouard to prod it clinically into the net from 10 yards. Weak defending would become the defining feature of the half of the match. Celtic, the scent of blood in their nostrils, placed a foot on the throat and squeezed. Yet the strangest thing is this: in the minutes before the home side, and Edouard, claimed a second goal 4 minutes before half-time, Rangers had their best spell, but for Craig Gordon they would have been levelled. It took 26 minutes to craft a chance, Jamie Murphy sliding Jason Holt in behind Didrik Boyata for a clear run on goal. The midfielder poked a shot towards the bottom corner, Gordon diving low to push the ball out towards the lurking figure of Jason Cummings, preferred to Alfredo Morelos from the start. It took a timely intervention from Christopher Ayer to hook the ball to safety. The chance gave Rangers the belief they could hurt Celtic, at the very least that they could compete. The Ibrox side began to press, they began to do the things beyond them in the opening stages. They did the basics. It was, in the end, as fleeting and deceptive as a moment of Donald Trump diplomacy. The expectation, he demanded, was that Rangers would press and harry Celtic down blind alleys. The reverse proved the case in the end. Things fell to bits for Morty's side with one James Forrest pass. A moment of penetrative speed and movement from Celtic the visitors simply couldn't match. Feeding opening goal scorer Edouard. On the right touchline the £8 million rated PSG lone striker had work to do yet. His task was made substantially easier by the weak, kitten-like defending of Russell Martin and Andy Halliday, which granted him time and space to thump the ball low into the bottom right-hand corner past Anich for 2-0. The goal came at a time when it seemed Celtic were flagging, settling into what passes in this fixture for a temporary lull. The notion was comprehensively debunked before half-time when Forrest scored a quite sublime solo goal. For long enough the winger has faced good-natured joshing over the fact his brother Alan Forrest, an Ayr United player, had scored more goals against Rangers than him. That changed in stunning fashion when the Scotland winger collected the ball on the right touchline, got the head down and drifted easily past weak half challenges from Cummings, Halliday and Martin before thrashing the ball ferociously into the far corner of the net for 3-0. There was never much doubt Celtic would be champions eventually. Now, here, against their oldest rivals, it became certain. Suddenly the defeat to Hibernian, which delayed the party a week, felt like a blessing. They could have eased down the gears in the second half. But Gore Vidal once wrote that it's not enough to succeed, others must suffer. With that in mind, Celtic scored a fourth 2 minutes into the second half. For Rangers it was a chaotic, shambolic affair, home players lining up to help themselves. It had to be Tom Rogic who applied the finish in the end. The Australian international, a superb footballer, swept his fourth goal of the season into an unguarded net after an under-siege Yannick denied McGregor with his legs, Celtic refusing to let up. The worry for Rangers was clear. 5 down, there were still 43 minutes left to play and Celtic showed not the slightest inclination to let up. They claimed a fifth in 53 minutes and, at that stage, a 7-1 win in the 1957 League Cup final began to look under threat. Edouard was the creator in a superb individual performance, using his strength to make for the byline before cutting back for Callum McGregor to score his obligatory goal in this fixture. Edouard was now the name of the game, reveling and exacerbating every moment of glaring Rangers misery. The arrival of Alfredo Morelos, a striker with an unfortunate habit of missing glaring chances in this fixture, seemed a decent cue for more jeering and mockery. The Colombian's anguish increased when Craig Gordon's legs denied him a single-digit response in 56 minutes. It needed some outstanding goalkeeping from Jack Hanlick, the former Newcastle keeper, to prevent the scoreline going from the sublime to the ridiculous. Denying Forrest, he then showed the elasticity of Inspector Gadget to deny Rogic brilliantly in 65 minutes.